Well, no, you know who? Bill Russell, because he was just a winner. You know the heist is going to work if you have Bill Russell there.
There you go.
11 championships. I mean, we were up at the, what used to be top of the hub, which is now called the View, at the top of the Prue, looking out this morning at the city. And it was like, if you just look over at Kendall Square, like none of that existed like when we grew up.
Yeah.
That was like a kind of like an industrial wasteland. So just the amount of kind of new, young energy in the city is like different. And you feel it when you walk along the river or like, it's just a very, very different place.
Yeah, when people say that a city's changed, you can see it, but also there are so many invisible things that, like, when we were kids, all of our friends had 3 generations, at least in their families, that had been in the city for a long time. That's just not the case nearly as much anymore. It's a lot of, like, people that have just moved here from other places, young professionals, and
you used to be
culture.
From here, right? Now it's like a destination. Like people come here, like professionals come here.
Yeah.
So that's really different.
I think it was changing even when I was there. The real estate just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the buildings are taller and taller. But I was, when we were on top of the Prue this morning, I was like, oh, there's Warren Towers, still there.
Shot of walking along the warning track, and they popped the door open, and I ran back there and signed the wall.
Yeah, I had been on the field in front of the Green Monster, and I had been behind on the other side. I used to work doing some concessions on the other side of the Green Monster. I had never been inside the thing itself. So on this one, we got to do that, and that was cool. Were you there? That's it? Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, and the history there too. Like they used to, during long innings, like Carl Yastrzemski, the guy back there, the guy doing the scoreboard, would keep his lit cigarette for him. And in the middle of a long inning, he'd go back and take a couple drags. Like very different game back then, I think, than now. I mean, yes and no. Like the accents for sure, but this movie is kind of like a heightened reality almost. It's not meant to feel like totally realistic. It's not like The Town, or even Goodwill or The Departed, where it's supposed to feel like very real. Like you want it to feel like the situation is. You want to believe that the situation is happening, but there are a lot of colorful characters in this that aren't really modeled on kind of real life in Boston, and that's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah, I think also Doug was smart enough to say we want to make this movie work for universally, not just for people, like it's not just for inside baseball fans to go like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it's like. He was paying attention to the detail of like, how is this going to work for an audience that's not from, it's all around the world. And so in some cases that meant like it didn't feel exactly like, oh, that's definitely and only Boston. It had a more universal feel.
But at the same time, it's got to work for people from here.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they let us go on the Esplanade. I was like, it was very cool to see. I mean, the access that we got was amazing. We shot in City Hall, in Fenway, so that kind of stuff was amazing. And that'll be really fun for people, I think, from here, Mm-hmm. So to be down at Government Center, and it was just I've been to all these places in my life, but not in that way. So that was very cool. I feel like Rory's a hockey guy, his kid plays hockey. I feel like that, and he talks about it in the movie when he sees Bobby Orr's stick and things like that. So I think Rory was probably a hockey guy.
I think Rivera's a Celtics girl. I think, fast moving game.
Just right on the bandwagon. Yeah. Look at you. Just jump right
on. Cobby would probably be a fan of the 2004 Idiots. That gang, that team was the one. I think they were rebels. They were a little shaggy. They broke some rules. I think he probably would have liked them.
That's a good call.
I'm going with the Chief for sure.
But he would stick out.
He would stand out, but you can use that to your advantage. He's also very mellow.
That's true. He's got a great demeanor.
Yeah, he's cool under pressure.
I like the Chief on a heist. That's a good idea. there had to be some criminals on the Red Sox back in the 70s
sure.
like, that we could enlist. Or some of those hockey guys like Terry O'Reilly and Brad Park and those
they'd be
guys.
happy to go on a heist. They'd be thrilled.
Great.
I feel like Edelman's a pretty good, like, all-around
utility
athlete.
guy.
Yeah. He can do what you need to get done.
Yeah, Edelman's a good call.
I feel like Roger would probably lose his cool. I love Roger Clemens, you know what I mean?
But all
he's
you got to
kind of
do is
about
give him
it.
a baseball and he can hold anybody off. It's 95 coming right out of it. That's got to be 4, right?
Yeah. Who else? This is important to get right.
This is important.
Larry Bird seems like a good.
Well, no, you know who? Bill Russell, because he was just a winner. You know the heist is going to work if you have Bill Russell there.
There you go.
11 championships in 13
Yeah,
years.
Bill
There you go,
Russell,
Bill Russell.
the Chief, Edelman, and just a bruiser from the Pick'em from the Bruins.
Yeah, pick him from the Bruins. Terry O'Reilly would fight anybody.
There you go.